Madonna, known as the Queen of Pop, is one of the most iconic figures in music history. But behind her successful career lies an unknown dark secret that you may not know about. She had to live without her mother at the age of just 5 years, but this was just the beginning of the tragic circumstances she had to deal with. In today's video, we're going to tell you more about the heartbreaking story of Madonna. Before she was dazzling audiences worldwide, Madonna Louise Ciccone was born on August 16, 1958 in Bay City, Michigan, USA. She was the third of 6 children born to Silvio Ciccone and Madonna Fortin. Madonna's early life was shaped by her tight-knit Italian-American family. Her father, Silvio Tony Ciccone, was an engineer, and her mother, Madonna Louise Fortin, worked as a homemaker. From a young age, she showed a natural talent for singing and dancing, often performing for her family and friends. But life took a tragic turn when Madonna's mother, also named Madonna, was diagnosed with breast cancer while pregnant with Madonna's younger sister. Tragically, the cancer couldn't be treated until after the baby was born, and by then, it was too late. The elder Madonna passed away in 1963 at only 30 years of age, leaving behind a shattered family. Imagine being a 5-year-old Madonna losing the woman who should have been her guiding light. With no female role model, she was left to navigate the world of rules and manners on her own. In her own words, "Some of my lack of inhibition comes from my mother's death. Mothers teach you manners, and I absolutely did not learn any of those rules and regulations." In interviews, Madonna's been raw and real about how her mother's absence left a void in her life. As a child, she and her siblings didn't fully grasp her mother's sickness. All they wanted was for her to play with them, and even though she was always tired, they picked on her because they didn't realize the extent of her illness. Madonna revealed in an interview that her mother's death left her with a feeling of emptiness and desire that fueled her relentless pursuit of success. To fill the emptiness, she sought adoration wherever she could find it. "I've turned my need onto the world and said, okay, I don't have a mother to love me. I'm gonna make the world love me." Today she stands as the Queen of Pop, turning her pain into power and inspiring millions along the way. Madonna's father remarried 3 years after her mother died, but Madonna and her siblings didn't get along very well with their new stepmom, Joan. She worked for the family as a housekeeper before tying the knot with Tony Ciccone. Madonna told Time in 1985 that she felt like a real-life Cinderella because of the amount of work she had to do around the house. To this day, Madonna doesn't really like to speak about her stepmother. When she does, though, she's pretty vocal about how much she's hated her as a kid and teenager. Her stepmother often resorted to physical abuse and slapping her on a regular basis as a form of punishment. Madonna recalled in an interview with Rolling Stone an incident when she was around 12 years old and her stepmother hit her so hard that her nose bled. Ironically, Madonna was happy about the whole thing because it meant that she could change out of the ugly dress she was wearing. "I was thrilled about it because my nose bled all over an outfit that she made me for Easter. I really hated it and I didn't want to wear it to church," the singer told Rolling Stone. Madonna's complaints about the dress angered her stepmother so much because she personally made it with the little amount of money the family had to spend on clothing. However, Madonna didn't like the fact that she and her sisters had the exact same dresses and looked identical. Madonna's upbringing wasn't just about chores and family drama, it was also about some seriously strict rules. Like, imagine being told that you couldn't wear tampons until you got married. Crazy, right? This wasn't just all, because things were getting even worse. Raised in a strict Catholic household, Madonna was expected to remain a virgin until she got married and was forbidden from using tampons until she got married. But the rebel queen wasn't having any of it. The idea that tampons affect a woman's virginity may seem antiquated, but it's a belief that is common among some religious institutions even today. In the 1930s, Catholic priests worried tampons would give women erotic sensation, making them lose their virginities upon application. Madonna told Rolling Stone, My stepmother told me I wasn't allowed to wear tampons until I got married. Can you imagine? A friend of Madonna's wound up showing her how to use them, and it wasn't entirely successful, as she felt awfully uncomfortable and paralyzed. Wearing tampons was just one of the ways that Madonna rebelled against her family's stringent beliefs and the idea that sexual pleasure was just for procreation. Plus, she also wanted to go swimming, which is difficult to do while wearing Kotex. She added, "No, you just don't go swimming. Just like you don't fuck when you're Catholic if you don't want to get pregnant." There are all these stupid rules. We all know Madonna as the fearless queen of pop, but let me take you back to a time when she was just a 19-year-old girl from Michigan with little more than $1 and a dream. Madonna had a dance scholarship at the University of Michigan, but the pull of New York City was too strong for her artistic ambitions. Sadly, reality did not meet her expectations when she moved to the Big Apple in the late 70s. In candid interviews, she unveiled the dark reality of her early days in the city, which included encounters with muggings, break-ins, and even sexual assault. New York wasn't everything I thought it would be. It did not welcome me with open arms. The first year I was held up at gunpoint, raped on the roof of a building I was dragged up to with a knife in my back, and had my apartment broken into 3 times. Madonna revealed more about the sexual assault during an interview with Howard Stern in 2015. First, I was in shock. I did not know a soul. I was saying hi to people on the street like a dork, she told Stern. The singer explained that she approached a friendly stranger for money because she needed change to make a phone call. I was going to dance class and the door was locked and I needed money for the payphone, she said. A man gave it to me. He was a very friendly guy. I trusted everybody. He convinced me to make the call from his apartment across the street. Little did she know this encounter would take a terrifying turn. Trusting the man's invitation to use his phone at his house, Madonna found herself in a nightmare scenario. She was sexually assaulted by the very person she thought was offering her help. And the worst part? She decided not to press charges against her attacker. Madonna was told by authorities that she would need to undergo a physical, attend a court hearing, and open up about personal details. Not only did she think it wasn't worth it, she also felt the whole experience would have been humiliating. From her daring concert outfits to that shocking kiss with Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera on TV, Madonna has been turning heads for all the wrong reasons. Scholars, sexologists, feminists, and authors have all had a lot to say about her bold displays of sexuality. This is where things start getting worse for Madonna. She published a book of erotic photographs, dropped an album called Erotica with songs about S&M, and even used religious imagery in ways that offended the faithful. Oh, and let's not forget her unfiltered interviews that always kept us on the edge of our seats. Seriously, to say Madonna's controversial is a massive understatement. But where did all this boldness come from? Well, Madonna herself spilled the tea during an interview. Because I had such a large family, I realized that I would only be noticed and heard if I made the big noise. If I wanted my father's attention, I would get on the table and tap dance and lift my dress, and guess what? He'd pay attention to me. No wonder she became the queen of grabbing attention. In that same interview, she was asked why people felt intimidated by her sexuality while not being bothered by that of other women. And her response was straight up fire. She said, "Because they're not as powerful as I am. I reach more people. My sexuality's boldness threatens people. I'm assertive. I'm not embarrassed or ashamed or inhibited." Due to her frequent usage of explicit sexual content in her work, MTV and other organizations censored her videos, stage performances, and other projects during her early career. In 1991, New Internationalist called her a hotly debated sexual icon, and the debate around her hypersexuality hasn't stopped since. Critics have constantly scrutinized her over the years. While some see her as a symbol of female empowerment, others criticize her for perpetuating anti-feminist ideas. It's a heated debate that's been going strong for decades, with Madonna herself caught in the crossfire. And guess what? The drama doesn't stop there. As Madonna embraced her sexuality while getting older, reactions from audiences became even more polarized. Some applauded her for defying ageist norms and continuing to assert her sexuality, while others criticized her as desperate and cringy. Madonna, the Queen of Pop, and Sean Penn, the rugged heartthrob, was a pair that set the tabloids on fire with their whirlwind romance back in the 80s. They met while she was filming the music video for Material Girl, and the lovebirds tied the knot in Malibu in August 1985 after dating for 7 months. But hold on tight, because this love story took a wild turn real fast. Though their relationship started out great, it deteriorated shortly after their wedding due to Penn's unpredictable outbursts and temper tantrums. In April 1986, Penn reportedly attacked songwriter David Walensky in a nightclub after he thought that Walensky was kissing Madonna. He was fined $1,000 and sentenced to a year of probation for the incident. Their relationship wasn't just turbulent, it was downright explosive, earning them the nickname Poison Pens. There had also been rumors about Penn's alleged physical abuse towards Madonna, but she denied them. In fact, Penn took legal action against Hollywood producer Lee Daniels for making such accusations, and Daniels publicly apologized after settling a defamation suit. In 1987, things hit a boiling point when Penn found himself behind bars for violating probation after assaulting an extra on a movie set and getting charged with reckless driving. Madonna filed for divorce in December 1987 but withdrew the papers 2 weeks later. The couple's divorce was then officially filed by Madonna in 1989, citing irreconcilable differences. Years later, Madonna opened up to Rolling Stone about the relationship, revealing that while she never spoke out against Penn publicly, she felt very hostile towards him because he broke her heart. And when your heart's broken, you're a super bitch about everything except that. You guard that closely. She explained that only the first year of their 4-year marriage was any good, but the reason they got married so quickly after meeting one another was because they were madly in love with each other. When she was in her mid-40s and married to actor Guy Ritchie, Madonna decided she wanted more children. At that time, she already had a daughter, Lourdes, and a son, Rocco. Hold on, because the Madonna family saga doesn't end there. Madonna's journey into motherhood not only brought her a big family, but also sparked a unique connection with Malawi. Stay tuned for the full scoop on Madonna's incredible journey and the twists and turns in her relationship with Malawi. You wouldn't want to miss this. In the fall of 2006, the pop star traveled to Africa as part of a documentary on the Malawi orphans. Little did she know, this trip would change her life forever. Shortly after returning, news broke that she and hubby Guy Ritchie were adopting a 13-month-old boy named David Banda. Madonna later revealed that they had been planning to adopt for years, but it was her philanthropic work in Malawi that led them to little David. I'm financing a documentary about orphans in Malawi, so I was allowed to view footage and photographs of a lot of children. An 8-year-old girl who was living with HIV was holding this child. I became transfixed by him, but I didn't yet know I was going to adopt him. I was just drawn to him. However, things got rocky when local human rights groups challenged the Malawian government's decision to allow Madonna to adopt David. They believed that Madonna used her fame and wealth to speed up the adoption. Additionally, David's birth father, who initially supported the adoption, later claimed he didn't fully understand what he was agreeing to. When Madonna first landed in Malawi, she had no information about David's parents. Later, she learned his mother and 3 siblings had died of HIV. At the time, the Minister of Children and Mothers' Welfare said they needed the biological father's consent, but his whereabouts were unknown. And after finding him, he gave the green light, hoping that someone like Madonna would be able to give him a better life. However, according to the press, David's father claimed that he did not fully understand what he was doing when he agreed to let Madonna adopt his son. The pop star, however, believes that the media is twisting the story. I do not believe that is true. I sat in that room. I looked into that man's eyes, Madonna says. I believe that the press is manipulating this information out of him. I believe at this point in time, he's been terrorized by the media. They have asked him things repeatedly and they have put words in his mouth. They have spun a story that's completely false. Despite being accustomed to criticism in the media, she never expected to face backlash for her family's decision to adopt a son. I didn't realize that the adoption was causing any controversy until I came back, she says. There were a million film crews in the airport and the press camped outside my door. I don't read newspapers or watch television, but all of my friends have let me know what everybody's talking about and what's going on in the news. So it didn't really hit me until I got back to England. It's pretty shocking. Madonna was devastated that she was treated like a criminal while she clearly wanted to extend her love to a child in need and called the process one of the low points in her life. She understood the criticism for simulating sexual acts while performing and releasing a book about sex, but trying to save a child's life was not something I thought I would be punished for. She opened up during an interview saying, "I was accused of kidnapping, child trafficking, using my celebrity muscle to jump ahead of the line, bribing government officials, witchcraft, you name it." Madonna experienced a similar challenge when she applied to adopt her daughter Mercy James from an orphanage in Blantyre, Malawi later on. Malawian officials initially rejected her application due to a divorce from Guy Ritchie, deeming her not capable of raising a child. Madonna fought back, winning in Malawi's Supreme Court and bringing little Mercy home in 2009. The way I was treated, that sexist behavior, was ridiculous. When I had my daughter, people accused me that I did it as a publicity stunt. I expected that. I didn't expect to be accused of kidnapping or doing something illegal. I didn't expect to be demonized, recalled the singer. Adopting the adorable twins Esther and Stella in 2017 was no easier for the star, who says Malawian officials don't want to be perceived as giving me any kind of special instrument, so I get the hard road. It's complicated, but it's so worth it, the proud mom said of her adoption journey. Back in 2000, Madonna tied the knot with director Guy Ritchie in a picturesque Scottish castle. But spoiler alert, this union wasn't all rainbows and butterflies. The couple faced challenges as Madonna felt artistically confined and Ritchie, overwhelmed by increasing public attention, became more private and perpetually silenced. According to reports, Madonna filed for divorce on the grounds of unreasonable behavior. In an interview, she opened up about the relationship, saying she was essentially going through an existential crisis towards the end of her marriage. There were many times I wanted to express myself as an artist in ways that I don't think Ritchie felt comfortable with. There were times when I felt incarcerated. I wasn't really allowed to be myself. In 2008, after 8 years of marriage, they called it quits. The divorce was a headline-making, jaw-dropping affair, with Madonna reportedly forking out a whopping $75 million to Ritchie. Yep, that's 15% of her fortune at the time. Their divorce settlement included a home in Western England and a bar the pair owned together. The singer's representative said that the divorce settlement was one of the largest in UK history. After much speculation, Madonna explained the real reason she and Ritchie split up in 2012. At the time, the hung-up hitmaker was promoting her self-written and directed movie W.E., which is about a woman in an unhappy marriage who finally manages to escape. When asked whether her previous marriage to Ritchie influenced the film, she stated she had been married 10 years when I started writing it. Madonna also admitted she started to question whether true love existed. I was certainly asking a kind of existential question that I think people ask when they've been married that long. What is the perfect love? Because when you start off, everything's great and lovely and the person you've married is flawless and you're flawless, she said, adding, then time goes by and you share a life, you have children, and there are cracks in the veneer. It's not as romantic as it used to be. As for what was on her mind at the time, Madonna continued, you think this isn't what I thought it was going to be, and how much am I willing to sacrifice? However, the drama between the two was early beginning. In 2019, a mysterious legal blow-up erupted between the exes, possibly over custody of their sons Rocco and David Bunda. And if you think that is where the family drama ended, you're in for a surprise. This time it's about her older brother Anthony's son stirring up some serious trouble. In 2011, one of Madonna's brothers, Anthony Ciccone, who was 55 years old at the time, came out with some shocking claims. Despite his sister being a mega millionaire, he found himself homeless for a whole year. He lost his job at the vineyard, and things spiraled so out of control that he was rumored to be living under a bridge. Anthony didn't hold back, accusing Madonna of turning her back on him when he needed her most. He felt like she was living in her own world, totally indifferent to his struggles. But turns out there's more to this story. Anthony battled with alcoholism, and the sibling duo never really had a close bond due to some serious rivalry. He even admitted he didn't pay much attention to Madonna's music and they hardly talked. Tragically, Anthony passed away in 2023, opening up a whole new chapter of criticism for Madonna. The internet exploded with opinions, with many questioning why Madonna didn't step in to help her brother when he was homeless. Some even accused her of prioritizing her own eternal youth over family. However, some reports suggest that Madonna did try to help him, even when he badmouthed her at every turn. She took him in and supported him as best as she could. But sadly, it wasn't enough. Over the past few years, the Queen of Pop has faced some serious health challenges. It all started with a scary bout of COVID-19, and since then, things haven't been easy. In June 2023, Madonna was intubated at a New York hospital after suffering a life-threatening bacterial infection. According to reports, Madonna was found unresponsive and paramedics had to rush in, administering a life-saving injection. She had spent days on a ventilator, forcing the star singer to put her career-spanning celebration tour on pause. Madonna released her first statement after her hospitalization in July, thanking fans for their positive energy and assuring that she's feeling better. "I have felt your love. I'm on the road to recovery and incredibly grateful for all the things in my life," wrote the singer. Addressing the crowd at Brooklyn's Barclays Center on December 16th amid her celebration tour, the pop superstar recalled the dark phase in her life. "Less than 4 months ago, I was in a hospital and I was unconscious, and people predicting that I might not make it. The fact that I'm here right now is the fucking miracle. There's very few people in the room tonight who were with me in the hospital." The Material Girl superstar went on to thank a very important woman named Siobhan, who dragged her to the hospital after she passed out on my bathroom floor and woke up in the ICU. Madonna added that Siobhan saved my life. The singer then gave a shout-out to her Kabbalah teacher, Eitan Yardeni, who was also in the audience and stayed by her side throughout her induced coma for 2 days. "The only voice I heard was his," she recalled. "A couple of things I thought about when I first became conscious and saw my 6 incredible children around me," she continued, before choking. "By the way, I had to almost die to get all my kids in one room. And I was thinking, what if I left my children? That would destroy me to leave my children at this moment in their lives. I wasn't thinking about myself, I was thinking about them. And I was thinking about my mother and how scared she must have been to know that she was going to leave us all behind. I don't take any of this shit for granted," she concluded. But just when we thought things couldn't get any worse, rumors started swirling that she's battling some undisclosed illness, making fans worry if she's reaching the twilight of her iconic career. Despite facing criticism and challenges along the way, Madonna continues to reinvent herself and inspire millions around the globe. So let's take a page from Madonna's book and remember that no matter what life throws our way, we have the power to overcome it. With that, I leave you. However, Madonna wasn't the only one that faced struggles, so if you want to know how Pamela Anderson faced it too, then click this video on your screen right now. If you enjoyed this video, then I hope that you'll consider leaving a like and subscribing.